Diane, would you like to make an announcement about Saturday's class?
Sorry, I'm trying to send another link to Jeannie. Yes. Who's coming?
Are we supposed to have registered?
Well, yeah, I just need to know how many people are coming so I know how much food to buy. So I told the Chestnuts about it. Are you guys going to come? Angel, are you going to come?
I would love to come, but somebody has to be here with Ben, my husband, who just had surgery, and so I'm going to come next time you have it.
Just take this off.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay.
Maybe we'll announce it again at the end when there's more people. Is that okay?
I just got distracted temporarily.
Let's announce it again at the end, if that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going
Elliot,
to.
we're glad you're here. I think Diane Okremenko is logging on.
Okay.
Somebody at my house just found a mouse, which made a loud noise. I wanted to tell you a little bit about the joy I've had the last couple of weeks of working in the temple. One of the things I always enjoy being a worker at the temple, but coming back after COVID has added something that we didn't usually have. And that is the chance to see our friends that are also temple workers and to visit with them. And several of them have kind of cornered me between assignments and said, you wouldn't believe the progress I made during the pandemic on my family history. And it has been really fun to hear their stories. And I invited one sister to tell us the story of what she has been able to accomplish on her family lines during the pandemic. And she couldn't come tonight because she had too much family coming to dinner, but she's planning on coming next week. And I think that all of us will enjoy her story. We all have had stories about progress in family history. I remember the day that, and this was ages and ages ago. I don't remember if New Family Search was here yet. I don't think New Family Search was here yet. I think we were still just using CDs to access some key collections. And I remember one night I made some wonderful discoveries, and I just said, Mama, share this with me. I want to talk to you about this. And it was on my mother's side, and my mother was no longer living. And I remember just thinking, this is something my mother would have rejoiced in. I just wish I could share it with her because she would understand it like nobody else would. We all have had those moments, and I think that we have the more when we pray for them. I also think we have the more when we have been working on family history. Usually we don't have as much help from the other side when we're not already working on family history. So I think that that's something that when we're working on family history, we should be praying for help. And maybe when we're having a pause where other things have taken our attention, maybe we need to be remembering that and asking our Heavenly Father to help us to get back in the mode to be working on family history. Karen, welcome. I don't recognize your name, Karen. That doesn't mean I don't know you, but it means my brain's not in gear enough to recognize your name, but we do welcome you tonight.
I need a new friend. The last one escaped.
Say that again, please.
Sorry, I didn't mute it soon enough, and my husband was saying something.
Oh.
I'm from the 5th ward. I don't know, is this the 5th ward meeting or is it a stake meeting?
It is a bi-stake meeting, actually a tri-stake meeting, because our Family History Center is a 3-state family history center.
Okay.
And so we welcome anybody from any of those states. And we also have people here tonight from at least 2 other states. Jeannie, what state are you from? Jeannie,
You're muted, Jeannie.
can you click the unmute button or the mute? There. While you're figuring out how to do that, I'm going to ask Elliot to tell us what state he's from.
From northeast part of Arizona. It's called Chinle State, Chinle, Arizona State.
It's in the what Arizona state? Chinle?
Chinle, Arizona State.
You have a stake in Chinle now?
Yeah, since 1990.
Great.
That's why I'm a high counselor. High counselor
Wonderful.
and second counselor in Chinle Bishopric.
Wonderful. Yes. And so Jeannie, have you figured out how to mute? Oh, you're unmuted now. Okay. Tell us what state you're from.
Provo Edgemont.
From Provo Edgemont.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes my sister comes on and I don't know what her state name is, but she is from halfway Oregon. And I always am pleased to be able to see her. Having people from several states does not mean that I am the exceptional teacher. But I hope that by sharing this time together, we can each learn something together. So welcome to all of you. I see the Buxtons are on. I am presuming that this is going to be Trevor that checks in tonight. Trevor is getting ready to, he's a family history consultant in my ward, and he's getting ready to go on his mission to the Dominican Republic and is learning about, yeah, that's Trevor. He's learning family history to take with him. Also, we're pleased that his grandfather is one of our family history consultants in our state. One of the things that was prophesied in Malachi is that the hearts of the children would be turned to the fathers, and the hearts of the fathers would be turned to the children, and that this was so important that if it didn't happen, the whole earth would be cursed. So we are doing something very important. And of course, the ordinances are what matters, enabling our ancestors to be able to have their ordinances so that they're prepared for the life after the coming of Christ. Now, what can we do to help us feel connected to each individual person? I can send in a name for temple work, but if I don't know something about that person personally, I don't get quite as concerned unless I have worked really hard to find the information necessary for their ordinances. So as we think about this, what is your guess about what Family Search has done to help us make this connection with our ancestors? And if you've looked up the topic for tonight's lesson, you know what it is. So who's going to, Trevor? Were you raising your hand?
My guess is the memory and records function.
Absolutely, the memories. So that is what we're going to talk about tonight. So what kind of memories do you have about, say your grandmother? Think in your mind, what memory do you have about your grandmother? I'll show you a memory that I have of my grandmother. My grandmother and grandfather lived in Mancos, Colorado, which is close to Cortez. And most of the jewelry in that end of the country is Indian-made turquoise and silver jewelry. But when my grandparents were engaged back in they got married in 1912, my grandfather didn't get a turquoise and silver ring for my grandmother, but he got a turquoise ring set in gold instead of in silver. And it was a beautiful oval shaped turquoise. And then my grandmother died only a few years later. And so my mother was still a preschool little girl when her mother died. Somehow or another, my mother managed to get this ring as she grew up. And because my mother loved it so, and it was so special for her, my sister and I loved it. And Alice confided to me many years later that she would sneak in my mother's jewelry box and borrow it and wear it. And I confided to Alice that I would ask Mother for permission to get into her jewelry box and get it and wear it. And somehow, while we were both in high school and were wearing our grandmother's ring, we lost it. And Alice, through the years, always felt guilty that she had lost Grandma's ring. And I always felt guilty that I had lost Grandma's ring. So I didn't even tell Mother I had lost it. I just let it be lost. And Alice didn't even tell Mother it was lost. She just let it be lost. And so one year after we were both adults, Alice said, you know, I lost Grandma's ring. And I said, oh no, I'm the one that lost Grandma's ring. We don't know which one of us it was. But this year, when the stimulus check came and we had a little extra money, and my husband had given me a turquoise and silver bracelet for Christmas, I said, Charles, could we trade it? I know you chose that for me, but what I really would like is to have a remake of my grandma's ring. And he said, yeah, we could do that. So we went to the jewelry store and drew pictures and had them remake my grandmother's ring for me. And if I could have afforded it, I would have had one made for Alice as well. But meanwhile, I have my grandmother's ring to wear. And as far as I'm concerned, it's my grandma's. So that is a memory I have of my grandmother. And being as how her life was rather short. I don't remember how old she was when she died. I don't remember what year she was born, but they were married in 1912. So, and she died in less than 10 years. So you know that it was a long time ago. And my mother didn't really even have too many memories of her mother, but had been lucky enough to have this ring. I also have a cabinet, it was a wall shelf that my grandfather bought at the time that he was getting married, and he bought it from his in-laws who were moving out of town. And it took some work for my mother to be able to get that shelf back from relatives who got it that were not related to my grandmother, and ask them for it back and get it back. And it hung on my mother's wall all of my mother's life, and now it hangs on my wall, and I love it. And that's a memory, a physical memory that I have of my grandmother. I hope that as I have mentioned those two things, that you have thought of something physical that reminds you of your family. You probably also have had family stories told about someone in your family. Does anybody want to tell us about any family stories that are pretty brief, that they're in the mood to share? Yes, Elliot.
Everybody see this?
Beautiful. That looks like a hold-on model.
Correct.
Is that what it is?
Yes, it is. Made out of colored pencils. My great-grandmother, my mother's maternal grandma, her name was Asashi, according to one of the medicine men me and her visited over 20 years ago. We still have not, I'm unable to find the official record, her name, her official record as of yet. But she used to weave very large rocks back in the 1920s. In her prime years, she was pulling a large piece again on the tree limb to straighten the rock again, and the whole entire tree limb fell on her. That's how she died.
Oh,
But there is only one photograph in black and white that my uncle had one time in his collection, and I picked it up. And I put it in Family Search, and I put it on Facebook albums, and I have it in my albums right now. It's all black and white, and we have to identify. I've asked a few elders in the area what the trading post in the background is, and nobody could identify the background trading post or store. Where they used to sell the Navajo rug. But that's the name of my great grandma. She used to weave large rocks.
wonderful. Although the name isn't familiar at all to us and is not even, word sounds that we're used to. I am very glad that you know that and that you have that. So my question for you is, have you taken a picture of what you just showed us and put a picture of that on Family Search?
Yeah, what I've showed here, I have all of it in my hard copies, my family photo albums. I have a photo album with my artwork, and then this is also on Facebook albums and also in Family Search.
Also on Family Search?
Yeah.
Great, great. I think that is important so that your family also can see that. I think it's possible that my cousins that don't live anywhere near me might like to see this ring, and that's in memory of the ring that my grandmother had. So let's talk a little bit about what do we want to put on memories in Family Search. I listened a little bit to a lesson given by a Brother Bell, who works for Family Search and is the director over the memories department. And he mentioned, of course, that everything has to be digitized and that we have to learn how to digitize them. And then he says, don't put on every single picture that you have. If you took 100 pictures of the day your first baby was born, choose a few of the most significant ones and put them on. Don't put on all 100. The first thing we have to learn is how to digitize a picture. And that is because we can take a picture of something and turn it into a digital file, and then it can be uploaded to Family Search. Now for pictures, the digital files that we use most are JPEGs. There are a couple of other formats that are used. Yes, my family's too loud. They're in this room and they're enjoying visiting and they need to leave. And so, what is the best way to do that? We have at the Family History Center 3 computers that will scan. 2 of them scan. You can either save into the computer, but then you have a file of your own personal stuff on the computer. The other way is they have flash drive ports. And so you take your little flash drive and you plug it into the port, and the pictures are scanned in right directly, so they land up in your flash drive. The other thing that we have at our Family History Center, which it is rare for a Family History Center to have one, and we are so lucky, is a high-speed photo scanner. And it will scan photos in less than a second. And you can do quantities and quantities in next to no time. And it is available for use anytime our Family History Center is open. And so our Family History Center is open every evening. Look at the schedule for when it's open, and we can talk about that at the end of the class. But everybody is always welcome to come to our Family History Center and use that scanner, and we hope that lots do, because it is such a blessing. One of the things that is really nice about it is that it scans the front and the back of a photo. So in the past, if I scanned the front of a photo and scanned the back of the photo, then I have to make sure that I get the front and the back hooked together. So if the back lists who all 20 people are, but I don't connect the list of names, If I connect that list of names to a photo that only has 2 people in it, then obviously I've goofed. So that is one of the things that is really nice about our high-speed scanner, is that it scans the front and the back together. Another way to scan them is to get a picture, is to get a box, and I forget the names of these boxes, but they are special boxes that have a place for your own camera or your own phone to hook into, and it is at the right focus level, so it can take a picture of this photo that you have put in the bottom of the box, and you get a very good copy. Another way would be to just, like, if there was a picture of somebody in a relative's house, you could just go and try to adjust the light so that there was no sunshine shining on the photo, and you could just snap it with your own camera. But that is not going to be as good as using this kind of a special box. And in a minute, I'm going to ask Angel to tell us what the name of that box is. Another way that you can do is, if you can figure out what your photo's focus length is, then you can put your camera that high above the object you want to take a picture of and take the picture. We were kind of lucky. My husband had gone to a class and had learned, I think the focus level of his camera was 15 inches. And we went to visit his one aunt who has a tendency to be a little cranky. And that day she was not cranky. And she said, "Oh, did I ever show you when your grandmother died, I got her Bible. Did I ever show you her Bible?" And we said, "No, we've never seen her Bible. We would like to see it." And so she went in the other room and brought out an old Bible that she had duct taped together. And she said, "Isn't this a wonderful old Bible? It even has things about the family written in the middle. It has death dates and things." And so we looked at the Bible and we discovered this was not Charles's grandmother's Bible. This was Charles's grandmother's Bible. And it did indeed have, in the middle section between the Old Testament and the New Testament, it had blank pages, as most old Bibles did in those days. Sections where she had written down births and deaths of her children. And wow, what a wonderful thing to see that Bible. And then she said, "Oh, and her father was a minister. And if you look through the pages, you will find his sermon notes." And so we looked through the pages and found several notes of sermons that he had written, no doubt to deliver as in his ministry work, and also of no genealogy information whatsoever, his recipe for black shoe polish. And that was fun to find. And so we said, "Oh, would you mind if we took some pictures?" And she said, "No, wouldn't mind at all." So Charles looked around for the best lighting and he put the Bible down flat and he remembered how many inches his camera focused at. And so he took the pictures and ended up with wonderful pictures of the family history information and black shoe polish recipe and sermon notes, taken at the very best way that we could have taken them. And my guess is that we'll never again go to visit her and have her in the kind of a mood she was in that day. So we were very thankful that we had taken those pictures and that we have them. So perhaps this should also be a reminder to us that when we are near family, we should take any opportunity that we have to take a picture of something, to take the picture. Hello, Augustina. I'm glad that you're here tonight. So those are some ideas of ways to get pictures. Most of us have pictures on our phones. Some of those pictures on our, Angel, first of all, tell us the name of the box that you bought that you use to take pictures.
It's called a SHOT, SHOT box. A SHOT box.
Spell it again.
SHOT.
SAOT?
H is in What's the,
H-O,
yeah, H in hotel, yeah, H-O-T.
H-O.
T is in Taco.
Hot box.
Yeah, a
Okay.
shot box. Mhm.
And I know that Angel has used this for hundreds of old pictures that she then put on Family Search, right?
Yes, and also objects. And then I then used it on memories and then had my mother record the family history with her voice. So we have audio of my mother recording why this object is important to our family.
Wonderful. So, for example, I could do the same. I don't think I have audio on my picture of my mother's ring. We could put that audio. And I know that this has been a big project of Angel's through the pandemic, and her mother is aging quickly. So this has been really a marvelous thing that she has done to get all of these pictures on Family Search and then to get them in her mother's voice. And in some cases, she has some of her nieces and nephews who are grandchildren of Catherine to be able to talk to her grandmother and tell the stories. And how wonderful to have those recorded. That is going to mean so much to this family to be able to have those things.
Okay.
I have two things down in chat. I'm going to read them. Karen says she thinks that some of these kinds of boxes are called photo studio in a box. And Angel says, yes, she has the one called shot box. John, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say that Friday night, we had a couple come into the Family History Center to use the fast photo thing. And in 2 hours, they copied over 1,000 pictures.
That was Melody, wasn't it? Melody
Yeah.
came in, didn't she?
Wow.
So that's, we taught them how to use it and then just sat back and watched them. So, but in those 2 hours, they kicked out 1,000 photos onto their thumb drive from all kinds of shoe boxes and things they had accumulated. And now they can take any one of those pictures, plug it in a thumb drive, and load it into Family Search.
Yes, and now it's going to take them a few hours to do that, but that is definitely something they want to do. So now I'm going to go to share screen, and I am going to talk a little bit about what is available at the Family History Center also, and that is called Photoshop Elements. And Photoshop Elements is a great program. Maybe while it keeps loading, I am going to quit screen sharing for a minute and show you, this is just one flash drive. If you don't know what a flash drive is, this is one example. And it can be used then, like he said, with the high-speed scanner, or it can also be used in either of our other printers to scan directly into this. If you're scanning and you're not using a flash drive, the instructions on how to scan should be posted near the printers, that's what you use as a flash drive. If you're putting things directly on one of our computers at the center, you're going to want to take your copy home, either on a flash drive or else on an SD card. And SD cards are in traditional cameras. And there usually is an SD card slot on your computer so that you can use it as portable storage to take out of your the computer at the church and put down there. Now, if I am scanning a picture at home, if I'm scanning a picture at home, I come down here on my screen to where it says type to search. And if I type in scan, it is going to connect me with the computer program that is on my computer that scans. And so that is just a little bit of technology that some people like me that are still learning technology would need to know. So here we have Photoshop Elements, which I'm pulling up, and it will take a minute for it to load. We have this same program at the Family History Center on the computer that is nearest the Canon printer. So I don't remember what number that printer is, but this program is not one that is shareware and free, but it's one we had to buy, and it costs about $100. But I'm glad that we have a copy so that you don't have to buy a copy of this or a similar program in order to be able to scan and edit your photos a little bit. So here, this is what the screen looks like. And I probably would want to use either the guided mode or the quick mode, but I would go to File and Open, and then it would give me a list of my computers and everything that's in my computer, and I would click Pictures, and then I would choose a picture from that file, and it would open up in my, it says that was, oh, I was opening up a document, and it wouldn't open up a document. But you'd go to Pictures and choose the picture that you want, and then it would show on this screen. And then once it shows on this screen, you can do any of these things that are on the side to it. And by the computer that's near the Canon printer, there is a chart on the wall that tells about each of these things and what you can do with them. What you're going to do most often, I think, is this one, which is crop. And with this one, you are able to draw a line around the part of the picture that you want to keep, and then you don't have to keep, then it cuts the rest of it digitally, it cuts it away from the screen. Also, if you want to write a text on it to show who is in the picture and you want to write their name directly on the picture, you can use that. The Band-Aid, that's not a Band-Aid there, that's, oh, it is the Band-Aid right there. The toothbrush makes the teeth look whiter. The Band-Aid is what you can use to cut, help get rid of imperfections in an old photo. So this is a great program to use so that you can put your best pictures in the best shape on Family Search, or to use them for whatever else you want to use them for. Okay, so now it's time to go to Memories itself. So maybe I already had this pulled up once, but maybe I didn't. And besides, it's already pulled up again. So I would go to Tree. Actually, I don't have to go to Tree. I can just go to this list across the top and see Memories. Or I can go to Tree, and then I can choose a person. Let me choose that grandmother of mine. And then when I see her name and go to her page, I can go directly to her Memories. And once I get here, I have the option of photos, stories, documents, or audio files. And here are the pictures of my grandparents with their youngest son just before she died. And I guess in those days, until potty training was done, they left little boys in dresses, at least in her family. So here are documents and stories, and I currently don't have any audio about her. Here I have an object. That was one of the things Angel mentioned. And so here is the object that I have in here. Now, if I wanted everybody to be able to see this rose plate, I would leave this setting set as public. If I only wanted my family to be able to see it, I would click on it instead as private. And then it would just be private. Now, one of the particular reasons where we might want to do that is if you Google has a way of going through stuff. And if I don't want this picture of Grandma's rose plate on Google, then I should set this as private. They have given me the option of putting in a title. And in fact, it is a very good idea to put in a title. They have given me the opportunity to click on the photo and then tell who this photo is. Now, because it was my Grandma Gladys's rose plate, I tagged her on this picture. I also tagged her uncle, Walter Sherman Michael, because he is the one that delivered this plate to my mother. And I think I've told that story in another lesson one day. But because that applies to both of them, I have tagged them both. And it is here now on both of their pages. Now, so if I were to click on my great uncle Walter Sherman Michael's page, this rose plate is now on his page with the title and any other information that I were to add. So if one of his descendants were to see this, then they would be able to know. Now, you see, I have not given an event and I have not given a story. If I were to do those, then they would be also on his page. But I did do an audio, and let's just listen to what I said.
Hear it, Nancy. Nancy, we can't hear it.
You can't hear it? So since you can't hear it, I'm going to turn off the audio. And this audio, my little recording to go along with this took 59 seconds. But I told the story about the day that Walter Sherman Michael came to the door. My mother didn't recognize him. He posed as a salesman and offered to sell my mother this plate, which she recognized, having been only 4 years old when her mother died. So I have added that story. I haven't yet added it to an album, and I have not yet described the event, which would have been the day that he brought it to her. But now, because I have recorded the story, other people can listen to the recording about this plate. And let's see if I can remember where I found the story, the ability to add the story. I guess it's at the bottom, right here. And so that is something that we can do to make this memory more of a memory and more long lasting. So if I were to also want to go to my grandmother's memories and go to the pictures and add a picture of this ring, then I could go to right here and I would go to the top to where it says upload a photo. And if I were to click there, and if I already had written down or had it in my memory where on my camera I have the picture of this ring, then I could import it by clicking on the picture, and it would bring the picture of the ring in. So that is how you upload it. Also, you could upload it if it's in your gallery. So now we're going to go to galleries. And here, when you open a Family Search, there is this bar across the top that tells you all the things that Family Search can do. And so what I did tonight was I opened up the tree. I could also go to search, which would allow me to search the billions of records that Family Search has. I could go to indexing, where I could index a record that has not yet been indexed that Family Search has. I could go to activities and find out games to play with my family or other fun things to do with Family Search. I could go to Temple and see which names I have prepared for Temple work have been done and which ones haven't. Or I could go to Memories and go to Gallery. And if I do that, I find all of the things that I have uploaded to Family Search, whether I have put them as a story or as a photo or as a document or as an audio, it now shows here. And the way that it's showing right now is a list, but if we wanted to change it to the photo, we could see photo. What was suggested in this story, in this lesson that I watched, was that it would be good to put things in albums. So like he suggested, put an album for each person in your family that you would be putting anything about in your memories. So I have never gotten around to doing that. There's also the availability to search the things that are in your gallery, and you can search right now by topic or by tags. And when I took the tag of and made a tag on my grandmother's plate with my grandmother's name, then now that gives me the option of searching sense of searching the items that are tagged with her name. And my husband was trying to tell me something. What are you trying to tell me? Oh, he says he'd like to see this picture of this is a picture that I took, and you see I did not edit it. I did not crop it. So it takes the whole picture. This was a picture of, can I draw this down? How do I get to the top? There. So there's a picture of his 90, I don't know how old she was in this picture, 90 something, and her two daughters, who are Charles's cousin, and Charles and I, as we visited her in her home. Now we have kept this as private, which means that no one else in the family can see it because they're still living people in it. That would be another time that you would use the living designation, because her daughters are still living. If you ever wanted to go to a house that had family history on the wall, memories, it would be this house. This whole room is covered with family pictures and a little bit of stories, but mostly family pictures of every ancestor that she had. And we have tagged it so that we're able to see that later when either we're older or whatever. We might make this public so that others could also see it. So those were examples of things that were here. I also kind of wanted to show you, just do one with you. And this would be, I'd open up my tree again and I would find my husband, because this is a memory about my husband. And so I'm opening up his page. Then I would go to his memories. Then I would go down to audio and I would click upload audio. And the easiest way to find this today is to go to my desktop. And in my desktop, I have so many things, but one of them I hope says Poppy, which is what we call which is what we call my husband. And all of those are files. It's not in a file. Maybe I need to fix this so that all files are included, because it's an audio file. Now it's going to show audio files, and I can go down to my P's and find him. There it is right there. Did it? I don't think it uploaded. So I'm going to go down again. Again, I'm going to take it off of custom and put it on all files so that I get the audio. Okay. Now, if I say open, it should open it, shouldn't it? Let's see, it should say uploading. Maybe it'll say it higher up on the page. Oh, here it is. Oh, darn it. It says it's not supported. So that means we're going to have to change it to a different file format. I can read, I'm sure, down here on audios and see which audio files are supported. This is saying that it's not supported. Charles has an unusual birthday song that he traditionally sings to everybody in our family and anybody out of our family that will listen. And he calls it the Dirge. It's even available on on the internet. Google finds it. So it's something that our children wanted to make a copy of. So they filmed him singing the song so that they would always have a copy. But that copy will be easier for them to always have if it is here. It's trying to list it as under photos. We know that's not a photo that would work. Let's go to memories and see if it's in the gallery. And go to the top of the, no, it didn't add that. Okay. But well, I'm going to have to do that because I certainly want to be able to have that on Family Search. Sometimes documents that we find are not from Family Searcher or Ancestry or some other site, but it's something we found in person and we've taken a picture of it and we want to list it under documents. That's one of the things we would do under the document section with the pages of the family Bible that I told you about. Things that are put on Family Search are screened. So why would pictures be screened? And I always assumed it was Family Search missionaries that screened them, but it is apparently is a company that they've hired to screen the pictures. And they feel like that all pictures have been screened within 5 minutes of when they're uploaded. And they said it's not foolproof, that sometimes people working from home have lost their internet connections or something like that, and that you will get a message saying that a photo was not accepted if it wasn't accepted. So why in the world would Family Search restrict photos? Give me an idea.
Nancy,
Uh-huh.
I put a picture of my uncle and his hunting and the elk that he got, and they did not like that because of I guess the blood and the violence associated with it.
Okay.
And then I also got one restricted. It was my great grandfather kissing my mother on her wedding day. Just a
Kissing
cute
her.
photo, but kissing. So no kissing's allowed to.
That is the biggest thing that I have heard of, is they don't want kissing. And they are not concerned about whether it's a father kissing his daughter on her wedding day or whether it's a mother kissing a baby. They just don't want kissing.
Yeah.
If
I had
something
one
is
rejected
restricted-
once.
Okay,
I had one rejected because my dad, well, I had all my family draw these pictures of the story that my grandmother had told. It was for our family little activity. And in the story, she told about how grandpa had a bunch of fancy cuss words. And so the caricature that they had done was just, the exclamation points and all that kind of stuff. And they rejected it first. And then I wrote back again and I asked them to reconsider because it was just, just the drawing of what was in the story, and they accepted it.
yes. So after you submit something, if it's restricted, you're given 30 days to appeal it. And a lot of them are allowed after you appeal and explain to them why it is that you wanted it included. And I was glad to know that they have an appeal process and that they are glad to appeal it. Have these ideas tonight given anybody an idea? That is the main things that I wanted to talk to you about tonight. So I want to know if any of you have thought of something that you would like to mention. Karen Ricks did ask this question on chat. And Angel, you might be the one that can help me make sure I've got this right. When you set a picture to private, can other family members see it, but just outside the family can't? Or is it just you that can see it?
I think it's just you.
I think you're right. But you could change that at some other time if you wanted to. Okay, before I got sidetracked with that chat, did anybody think of anything during the lesson that they want to make sure they get put on Family Search? On memories?
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
Okay. Do you want to give us an example?
I haven't put anything on yet, so I'm wide open
I haven't put anything on your page or on anybody's page.
on anybody's page.
Well, you better put a story about your wife's first kiss. I think that ought to be there.
And
Don't
Yeah.
you?
I agree, and interestingly enough, that happened 1 week from today, 59 years ago.
Okay.
So maybe I'll put that on next week.
Between now and that day, you should. John wanted to make sure she didn't forget. He
And
thought
post
the
a
longer the
picture of
kiss
both
was,
of
the
you.
more she'd have to remember.
Then post a picture of her about that time period. Add those pictures.
Yes.
I've been doing too much genealogy for her to waste time putting pictures on memory. So
Well, then challenge one of your daughters.
John, just tell yourself you'll just spend half an hour a day doing pictures, and that's all. And the rest of the time can be family history research. Just a half an hour a day adding pictures. That's all. And you'll be surprised at how much you'll get done in a year.
Now, you might also be surprised at how little discipline you have about limiting it to 30 minutes. Trevor, maybe a mission call would be a good thing to put on your page. Now, go ahead.
I was wondering, do memories that you put on the pages of living people, do they carry over until after they die? Or do they carry over after they die, I should say?
Yes, for a while it didn't, but I think they're at the point now where it does.
Okay.
But also, we should all know this: when somebody dies, and the ward clerk turns in their death information, then a page is made on Family Search in that event, and then you have to do the duplicate. You have to take the page that you've made about the living person and resolve the duplication between it and the one that's made from the ward clerk's death information.
That makes sense.
So, and that won't happen until you do that. I have had people that be very distressed when they found a page of their ancestor or their family member on Family Search, and all it had on it was the information that the ward clerk had in their membership record. And so we had to explain, but your copy is still there. You just need to do the duplication.
Merged by ID.
Yeah. Now, do you know how to do that?
I do.
What
I've
did that
done it
matter?
other times, but I think one of the times I wasn't supposed to, and I had to backtrack. I had to undo what I did.
Do you mean on Family Search, if we make a mistake, it's fixable? Yes. We don't have to be afraid of making a mistake. Did anybody else have an idea of something that they wanted to put on?
Nancy, this Angel.
Hi.
So now I need to move to the Metzger line. So I'm going to go and try to get Ben's families, work on Ben's families, all their photos and their family heirlooms and put those on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once you've taken care of all of your mothers. And if that project is finished, I'm really proud of you. And yes, move on to Ben's family. And Ben's mother,
she has put a lot on.
good.
So.
And as people age, their memories aren't quite as good as they used to be. So it's better to do this before instead of after. Jeannie, are you laughing about that?
Yes. Well, and I can share something I thought about. A couple of weeks ago, I was going through some of my grandmother's papers and I found a description of, they lived in Ophir, which is a mining town in Utah. And there was a pandemic at the time. I assume it was maybe the flu from the 1920s. And she wrote about how their parents sent them up the hill each day, spend the day up there before they came home at night because they were trying to limit their exposure to contagion. And I thought, well, that's an interesting thing right now, especially. So
Yes. And I think that that's pertinent. I suppose that there are a lot of people who write beautiful stories and perfect them and work on them, and they are gorgeously written and beautiful stories. And then they read mine and think, boy, she was a poor writer and she writes about such choppy things. She's got a 1-paragraph story of this and a 1-paragraph story of that. But some of my memories are just 1-paragraph memories. And I think that my philosophy is, if I just have a 1-paragraph memory of the gifts that my mother's aunt used to give her every year for her birthday, then that 1 paragraph is enlightening to both my mother, about both my mother and her Aunt Mary. And if I just have 1 picture of 1 plate and a 59-second audio explaining that 1 plate, I think it enriches the information about my grandmother and her uncle, her brother, her uncle, who is my mother's great uncle. So I think that it's much better to make short ones than no ones. And so I am really glad when my cousin writes beautiful memories and they're so gorgeously written. But yes, John.
Tried calling us twice now and I didn't answer yet. This is Lauren and Brian's right next to me.
Right. Hi, guys. When did you move in? How long have you been there?
I'm not sure that John knows he's on loud.
And Brian's lived here for about a year.
Can you guys hang on just a minute?
You might need to mute yourself, John.
Oh,
If you mute yourself, John, we'll go ahead and have the closing prayer. Unless the phone call is something we should be in on.
Want us to listen in your phone conversation?
No,
Okay.
Okay,
I don't know how to move.
thank you.
Don't forget
Got
to
it
come
done.
back for the meeting.
Thank you.
Don't forget to come back for our meeting in a few minutes.
Am I muted now?
Yes, nope, no, but you were for a minute.
Okay, okay, I'll come back.
Okay,
Nancy, can I just make a quick comment?
yes, please.
So my husband has an aunt that she got in the habit of just writing 1 or 2 lines every day of what happened in their lives. And they were, they were simple things like the children came over and, came in and we gathered eggs from the chickens, or, just daily things. But some of them also included, my sister from another state came and visited with her family and listed the names. And now looking back so many years on that history, even though they might be seemingly mundane, they're really informative, and they really told a lot about the family and the family dynamics and their lifestyle.
Well, then maybe you don't put in every day's worth, but you would want to put in a collection of many to show what the everyday life was like and include some of those memorable ones.
Right. And the ones that kind of informed about other members of the family as well.
Especially those, yes. Yes, absolutely. I guess I would conclude by saying I think that the memories section of Family Search and the memories app that you can put on your phone are certainly ways of bringing the hearts of the children to the fathers. And so I'm pleased that we have this tool to do that with. Karen, would you say our closing prayer?
Certainly, I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
Our kind Father in heaven, we are so thankful to be able to gather at this time and learn more about the process of family history and feel the importance of it. And we're thankful for technology that allows us to do this even during a pandemic. And we're thankful for the tools that we have at hand to be able to search out our ancestors. And we pray that our families will also catch the vision of this. And we're thankful for all of the ways that the hearts of the children are turning to their fathers and fathers to their children. We're thankful especially for thy Son, Jesus Christ, and his atoning sacrifice. And we pray that thy Spirit will be with us through this next week. And we say these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
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 Thank you, Karen. Thank you all for coming.
Before you leave, one more time, just to announce that we're having a
yes.
class on finding your mystery ancestor on Saturday at 9 o'clock at the State Center. Breakfast. We'll have breakfast food, but I need to know if you're coming. Jeannie, I know you're coming. Helen is probably coming, depending on.
Do,
Alex, are you
chestnuts.
coming? Are
Two
you coming?
chestnuts.
Oh, you are? Good. And
Diane?
Trevor's coming? Yes, Jeannie?
are we going to be listening to a presentation, or do we need to bring computers to put things on?
It'll be mainly a presentation, but if you bring your computer, it might be helpful. Because if there's not a whole lot of people, I'll set up tables in the room where we're at, and then you can kind of take notes and do stuff at the same time.
So we will probably be in the cultural hall in the same
I don't know.
building.
I only have like 15 people. We might be in the primary room.
Okay, either the primary room or, well, it's the Relief Society room is the room that's set up with a screen.
It's not free. She told me I could have the primary.
Oh, it's not available. Okay, we can move the screen into that room.
Come into the East door, come into the Family History Center, and at that point, we'll direct you where we're at. Depends on how many people sign up this week.
So it's held at the Family History Center then?
At the building of the Family History Center.
It'll be at the State Center in one of the bigger rooms in the Family History Center.
Okay. How soon do you need to know if we're coming?
Just anytime. I'm going to buy food Friday. So anytime before Friday.
Okay, thanks.
If 30 people come, she wants to buy more food than if 10 people come.
Right.
Is it over or did it just?
Thank you, everyone, so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Good
for
night.
coming.
Good night.
Thanks for everybody's comments. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I'm
You-
gonna text. I'll text Heather to let her know. Hope Richard comes. I need Richard.
I guess I'll have to find out another time about what happened to Angel's husband.
Oh,
I knew he was sick in the hospital, but I didn't, she posted the other day that he just barely had his PICC line out. And you don't usually have a PICC line put in unless you're pretty sick.
okay. I've texted everybody. So you all
Diane,
back from all
I
your
don't have a
trips,
time on
Heather?
my calendar.
Yes, finally, and I'm exhausted.
When did you get back?
Monday. But then my in-laws are visiting right now. They're here, but they leave tomorrow. And then I'm like, oh, finally. No more visitors until, well, I think they're going to come in October. So I got a 6-week break. But I'm seriously considering not going home for Thanksgiving because I'm like, I think I just want to be alone right now. We'll see. Anyways, thanks for listening.
I understand. I understand.
Yes.
So did you go to the in-laws? Is that where you were at?
So I was at my parents in Virginia for 11 in Virginia for 11 days. And I got back Monday, and then my in-laws came in town Thursday.
Okay.
And then because they're dropping off a son for BYU this week.
Oh.
So I mean, there's just a quick visit, so they'll leave
So
tomorrow.
didn't you go to Virginia like a month or so ago too?
I went to Idaho for a week for family reunion a month ago.
Okay.
And then we
Man,
had like 4 days in between that trip. Then we flew to Virginia, and then but we've always had a visitor here nonstop though, like even in between the visits. So whew.
Kind of need some privacy. Kind of need some group time. Yeah.
Yes.
I have a granddaughter and roommate who came to town to visit for a week, who have joined us in our household that already has my niece that lives with us and my 2 granddaughters that are between apartments. So we've had a bigger household than usual.
Wow. And they'll probably be able to move in this week, right?
Pardon?
I was going to say they'll probably be moving in this week, right?
Right. Well,
Okay.
they don't know sure exactly when. A film is being filmed in their apartment, so they have to finish filming the film before they can move in. So, but I'm really glad to have my granddaughter here from Missouri. And
yeah.
Okay, well, we'll just have a short meeting without Richard and John.
Okay.
I just wanted to see who was coming to the class. John said he's coming. Helen, she was exposed to COVID, so it kind of depends on how she's feeling this week.
Who was exposed?
I was.
Oh dear, Helen. Have you
But
had
she's
it
had the
before?
shot, but she could still be contagious. So
but probably not. Okay.
we thought we'll just play it
Best
by ear.
wishes.
So I didn't know, Nancy, were you planning on coming or?
I was planning on coming. It's written on my calendar, but I didn't write the time down.
9.
9? Okay. I tend to be a late getter upper. There'll be another day I have to exert myself. with, you know, now that things are opening up, I'm just gonna have to be more disciplined about getting up earlier. I was getting in real bad habits about sleeping later and later and later. I've been subbing at the temple for the 9 o'clock shift, and that's means I gotta be at the temple earlier.
I'm just glad I don't have to get up at 4:30 anymore. I mean, I'm sleeping until 6:15. It's really nice.
Oh, wow.
And then when I can sleep until 7:30, it's like, woo!
So why were you getting up at 4:30?
Catch the train so that I could get to work by 7, so I could work, because I was still working 10-hour days, so I could still leave early enough to get home before dark.
Oh,
Because I had to catch the 5 o'clock, either the 5 o'clock train or the 5:10 train or the 5:40 train. It was so fun. I'm so
Wow.
thankful I can work at home. Okay, so I need Richard to be here, but I told him he can't come to call me because the computer next to the Lexmark printer in the other room stopped working. And Jeremiah tried to fix it, and he said it looks like Windows has to be reinstalled, but he didn't have the information he needed. But I think Richard either does or knows where I put it because it's one of the new computers.
Oh, okay.
And what concerns me though is that I was there when it stopped working. The elder was on it and it stopped working, and he made the comment, oh, we'll just have one of our guys look at it. And I'm like, no.
Mhm.
That might be why it stopped working.
I'm wondering because